Hi, boys and girls.
It's gonna be hot today. Even melting my camera lens. We're at our garage and test facility. Looks like we got ourselves a 2019 Mazda MX5, also known as the Mazda Miata. This is a sharp looking vehicle, especially with the metallic blue paint. Been getting a lot of compliments on this. This is a nice looking rig from the rear as well. The base MX5 runs around $26,000, comes with a soft top, and has a 6-speed manual transmission. This one is slightly different, and we'll take a closer look and show you why. First, we'll press the magic button. And now, instead of an open top, we have a solid hard top. Many advantages to this, as we'll discuss later. Secondly, since this is a play toy, I was hoping for a 6-speed manual transmission. We got the 6-speed automatic. There are advantages and disadvantages for that, and we'll look at that later. And third, this is the Grand Touring version with Bilstein shocks, tuned suspension, limited slip rear differential, bigger wheels and tires. That plus the retractable top and the automatic transmission brings us up to a bit more in the price tag. Everything is standard on this, no options. Oops, I take that back. Stainless door sill trim plates. $425. They just couldn't help themselves, could they? Everything had to be standard, but they just had to add something. They always do. Anyhow, there's your total tab. We also did a road test video on the Fiat 124, which is the Italian version of the Mazda MX5. It's actually a Mazda MX5 with a Fiat engine under the hood. It's actually manufactured in Japan at the Mazda plant, then shipped to Fiat dealers for sale. The link for this Fiat 124 video is at the end of this Mazda MX5 video. Just go to the end, click and watch. Previously, the only engine you got was a 155 horsepower version. This year, they give you the more powerful 181 horsepower version. With this automatic transmission, fuel economies rate 26 in the city, 35 on the highway. If you get the manual transmission, 26 in the city and 34 on the highway. I've driven both, I've never seen any difference. One feature we do in all my videos, we take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. So let's do that right now. It's dark enough. Let's take these lights out and see what they do. Oops. Guess we'll have to turn them on again. Here we have the low beams on a wall 100 feet away, or a fence in this case. Pretty bright, good widespread. Here we have the brights on a building 300 feet away. Good height, good spread. Go to low beam. Reaches out around, I don't know, 260 feet. Great for the city, but out in the sticks, you'll want the high beam. Here's what the rear view camera looks like in the dark. A little on the grainy side, but it's been raining, so maybe the lens isn't clean, but it works. I also noticed the headlights seem to be turning with the steering wheel. If true, that should come in handy when taking tight mountain corners. Ooh, speed bumps. As we'll be doing a little bit later on. If you like driving down dark alleys, these lights will definitely do. Here we're lighting up some road signs about a half mile down the road on high beam. Now we go to low beam. These headlights provide excellent illumination in these tight corners. And as I've said before, it's a good thing because we have mountain lions out here, and you don't want to hit a mountain lion, especially with a convertible with the top down. Sucker might land in your lap. Then you'll have a real problem. And yes, the headlights are turning with the steering wheel, as we can see. Looks like we've got two other Mazda Miatas on the road tonight. And they've got a bit more guts than me in their driving. And from the sound, they've got these engines souped up too. Nope, no road racing tonight. Not on this wet road. It's cooled off a bit, so I'm going to lower the top, go back into town, continue this test. But I'm going to have to hurry because the last time I came out here in a convertible, I got attacked by vampire bats. The snakes are bad enough. Got a couple behind me. Don't need any more bats. So let's continue on. Before I forget, the cornering ability of this Mazda is fantastic. Added that quick steering, nice brakes. This is a genuine sports car, not a fake. Mazda did an excellent job of improving this over the years, and it shows. Yes, let's have a collision on this one-lane bridge. This isn't the quietest convertible I've ever driven with the top down, but who cares when you're having fun, right? Let's take a look at the cabin, which has some good features and not so good features. Before we get in, we do have the infamous dirt shelf system. All this garbage builds up, gets on your pants when you get in and out. Oh well, it's just the way it is. There is no glove box, so don't bother looking. Underneath there is a 12-volt plug-in outlet. You get two storage bins, one on the left, I took the cover off, and one here on the right that actually locks. Anything else you want to lock up has to go in the trunk. Unless you want to count this in between the seats, but I don't know what you're going to put in there. Speaking of the trunk, of course there's very little room and no spare tire. There was room for my spare tire kit though. This is not a vehicle for taking long trips with luggage. The climate controls don't get any simpler than this. 3 basic knobs and a few buttons in the middle. Why can't all climate controls be like this? Even a monkey could operate this. Large buttons on the steering wheel. Easy to operate when wearing gloves. A well-designed gauge cluster. A sport mode for the automatic transmission, if you want to go quicker, or paddle shifters on the steering wheel, where they belong, not on the steering column like the Italians do, which is where they do not belong. You can also shift manually by pushing the stick to the left, just like a regular manual, except you don't have a clutch. You need to watch out for this metal top because it sits in the sun. You'll brand your hand. It doesn't feel good. A knob and button control for the infotainment system. A learning curve here, but easy to use once you get the hang of it. They're trying to copy BMW here. The navigation screen isn't very large, but it will do. And you have all these applications at the twist of a knob. I almost forgot, we get a real, genuine manual emergency brake. Thank you very much. I cannot stand those electronic garbage parking brakes. Don't get me started on that. This is what we need. Before I forget, there is another gripe I have, and this applies to all convertibles, not just the Mazda. And that's ordering a soft top with the top going down with black interior, especially black leather seats. When this sits outside, these seats are going to heat up like a frying pan and you're going to burn your butt. Black interior in convertibles, it just does not go together. I'm sorry. Tan, white, any light color, anything but black, especially on today when we're running around 105 to 115 degrees outside. So we're going to have to be driving with the top up for most of this test, at least during the daytime. The Fiat version of this car does have a tan seat option. I'm told Mazda will have that for 2019 as well. However, even so, trying to find them on the dealer's showroom floor, the ultimate majority of these convertibles always come in black. And I think you might have to just live with it. If you talk to anyone who's driven a Mazda Miata, they'll tell you this is a genuine, real sports car, not a fake. Takes corners like a champ, has very quick steering too, with good feedback, although most Mazda vehicles do, even their SUVs. We're going to have fun with this one. As we do in all of our videos, we're going to take some mild speed bumps around 25 miles per hour to evaluate the suspension performance on impacts. Here comes bump number 1 at 20 miles per hour. Wow, pretty smooth. Surprise for such a small car. Bump number 2. Number 3. And the big nasty one. Bit of thumping from the rear tires, but overall, I'm very impressed. There are two advantages of ordering this hardtop version of the Miata over the soft top. The most obvious is security. It makes it a lot harder for people to break in your vehicle to steal things, although with the limited storage space, you're not going to have too many items in the cabin to steal anyway. The second advantage is reduced wind noise at freeway speeds. It's far quieter than the canvas top Beagle. And notice I said quieter, not quiet. It's a small sports car. You're still going to get a lot of rumbling, as we'll find out when we take this on the freeway tomorrow. But this is definitely far quieter, no doubt about that. There is one feature this car has I find totally unacceptable, and that is when you press the gas accelerator down to get quick acceleration, the air conditioning compressor starts freewheeling. In other words, it cuts out. In other words, instead of ice cold air coming out of the vents, you get nothing but hot air. This has something to do with fuel economy standards and federal emission standards and so forth. You find it on some cars, not too many. But like when it's 111 degrees outside, I don't want hot air coming through the vent. I want cold air. So when you're doing those 0 to 60 runs, you better do it at night when it's cooler. Because when I'm doing this, I'm not getting any cold air at all. For the past 106 miles, I've been driving in the city getting 25.5 mpg. We're going to reset this to 0 and do some highway trips. I've driven a lot of Mazda Miatas and Fiat 124s with the soft canvas top. And at freeway speeds, the wind noise from those vehicles is just unbearable. Not something you want to do for taking long trips. By comparison, the wind noise on this hardtop is a lot quieter, the difference between night and day. Of course, when you have a 2,400-pound sports car with very little insulation, you're still going to get a bunch of racket underneath, and will pick up road noise, but it's still reasonable enough where you can take a long trip if you have to. It's hard to believe such a tiny car could have such a smooth, comfortable ride, but it's true. Well, there you go, 128 miles, 36.5 mpg. Looks pretty good to me. Anybody out there know what a Mercedes-Benz Uniq is? I thought I knew all the models. That's a 2010. Well, leave your opinion in the comments section. Mazda recommends premium fuel for this motor, which is what I've been using up to now, but I did put in some regular unleaded just to see if there's any difference. In city driving, acceleration-wise, I don't notice much difference. We'll take it out on the highway for another fuel economy test and see what number we get then. Back on the freeway for another highway trip. We're coming to the end of our trip. We'll pull over and see what the numbers look like. Well, here you go, 37.5 mpg using standard unleaded fuel. Compared to the other trip, we got 36.5 mpg using premium fuel. Those are the figures. Take it any way you want. We're going to do one last fuel economy run. Set everything to 0. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. That means there's little traffic on the road, so we're going to stick around 65 to 70 miles per hour, cruising right along. I'm hoping to get 40 miles to the gallon, but I guess we'll see. Well, that was a nice little trip. Let's pull over and see what type of fuel economy we got. I see the outside temperature has cooled off a bit, only 100 degrees. In the meantime, cruising at 70 miles per hour, we did 36.6 miles, 40.4 mpg. We did it. Hoorah. Our goal was to put 500 miles on this vehicle. I see we succeeded. And during that time, we averaged 31.4 mpg. Very impressive, I would say. I was also impressed with the 6-speed automatic transmission. Look, a manual transmission is fun. There's no doubt about that. But this automatic outperforms the manual in almost every way. And that's just the way it is. And again, if you want to shift for yourself, you have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Or move the lever to the left in the manual mode and shift manually, just like a regular manual transmission, except you don't have a clutch. Lots of choices here. Overall, the Mazda Miata has come a long way since its introduction decades ago, from a tiny little underpowered vehicle to a nice sophisticated sports car. The starting price in the low 20,000s is a bargain. When you load it up with everything like this, 36,000, not so much a bargain, but still a good deal, and a very nice car. Regardless of the price, if you purchase one, you will not be disappointed. Coming up, we have a link for the video we did on the Fiat 124, the Italian version of this Mazda. Click and watch.